Make your day pay-per-view.
This is CNN.
The southeast coast of Florida starts to get ready, watching out for the first hurricane of the Atlantic season.
Parched land goes up in flames in several western states, leaving hundreds of thousands of acres and dozens of structures in charred ruins.
President Bush gets comfortable with voters in the Deep South as the latest poll shows voters nationwide are only a little more comfortable with him.
This is Prime News Saturday on CNN with Andrea Arsenault at CNN Center in Atlanta and David French in Washington.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Those stories are just ahead, but first this developing story. A passenger ship with about 600 people aboard is said to be sinking off the coast of Malaysia. Lloyd's Shipping Intelligence in London reports the Royal Pacific collided with a fishing vessel in the Straits of Malacca between Malaysia and Indonesia. Officials say the ship sent out an SOS call about an hour after leaving Singapore. One report says 477 people have been rescued, and we'll keep updating you on the collision as details are made available. David?
And Hurricane Andrew. Hurricane Andrew is gathering strength as it takes aim toward South Florida and the Bahamas. Southeast Florida, an area of about 5 million people, is under a hurricane watch now, and people appear to be taking the warning seriously. Officials have been warning them to batten down the hatches and start stocking up on food and water. Some in Central Florida are taking no chances, picking up extra batteries and flashlights and preparing for the worst. While emergency management officials worry that some may be apathetic, people with hurricane experience know how to prepare.
This one's coming. I really think this one's going to come ashore somewhere between us and Fort Pierce.
So you were here for David?
Yeah, I was here for David. I was here for Camille. We've lived here since 1960, my family has. We've seen him come. So, yeah, I'm taking this one seriously.
We're going to fuel up for the hurricane. We have to get out of here. We want enough gas and enough time to get out. So we're going to get all ready for it.
The northwestern Bahama Islands are now under a hurricane warning, and hurricane-force winds could hit the islands sometime tomorrow.
For the latest on where Hurricane Andrew is and what it's doing, here's CNN's Ted Texter. Ted?
Andrea, we want to update you to just exactly what area is covered by the watch, all the way from Titusville on down through the Miami area, on through the Keys, back to the Dry Tortugas. So in that area, we've got to watch out because the storm is about 615 miles offshore now. Let's show you a picture from aloft. The satellite view shows the storm and its development through about the past 12 hours now. As it moves to the east, or rather to the west at about 15 miles an hour, maximum sustained winds are estimated now to be about 100 miles an hour. So it's gaining quite a bit of strength and it's developing very, very rapidly. Again, moving to the west at about 15 miles an hour. It looks like it will continue that westerly track for at least another 24 hours. It is about 48 hours off the coast, its current course and speed. We'll have to keep a very close watch on it. It looks like a very strong storm, and it's likely to hit the coast within about 2 days now. We'll have a complete weather update for you in just a few moments, so stay with us until then. Until then, we do have more news for you with Andrea.
Thank you, Ted. Well, dozens of wildfires are taking their toll on western states this weekend. The worst are in California and Idaho. In Northern California, firefighters nearly have gained control of the 18,000-acre blaze in Calaveras County. But they've got their work cut out for them on a blaze almost twice that size in mountainous Shasta County. The fire is only 15% contained. Battling the blaze are fire engines, bulldozers, air tankers, and helicopters. 7,500 people have fled their homes. And in Idaho, a firefighter is calling the 160,000-acre Foothills fire the most severe fire he's ever seen. It came within 6 miles of Boise before turning away.
With nearly 2 million people believed to be within 2 weeks of death in Somalia, the airlift of food and supplies to the starving nation is crucial. The United States already has sent the first plane loads of supplies to Kenya for people in need. Some will travel overland to Somalia, but there is widespread concern that armed looters could prevent some of the supplies from reaching their destinations. But as CNN's Jamie McIntyre reports, many feel this African tragedy is being ignored by those who could help most.
The reports from Somalia show human misery of heart-wrenching proportion. Hundreds of thousands of men, women, and children with no clothes, no food, no hope. The United Nations warns 2 million Somalis, nearly 1/4 of the country, could die within 2 weeks. And urgency relief workers say seems lost on the world.
The next 2 weeks are essentially critical. And it just seems to me that the task at hand and the resources currently available does not match the need for, what the challenge is.
Somalia's civil war has reduced its infrastructure to shambles, its government to anarchy. Gun-toting members of rival clans roam the streets, and according to some aid workers, have stolen as much as half the food delivered this year. Into the sea of suffering, the U.S. has begun airlifting aid, joining Britain, France, and Italy. But critics charge the hastily arranged effort lacks the armed protection necessary to get food to the famished.
While American support for food deliveries has been vigorous, our support for peacekeeping has not, and the consequences have been enormous.
The United Nations has been stung by criticism from its own Secretary General that a double standard allowed the plight of Somalia to be overshadowed by the Yugoslav conflict, dubbed by Boutros Boutros-Ghali a rich man's war.
One is left sadly to conclude that race must be the only issue. More people die in Somalia a day than die in Yugoslavia in a month. And yet it's received almost no attention in this presidential campaign.
Relief organizations note so far the level of help for Somalia amounts to only about 1% of international aid to Ethiopia during its famine of 1984 and 85.
There's a lack of interest, a lack of dollars, lack of support, and you're dealing with more people with a more prodigious problem. Plus the security matter, I think, is a lot worse in Somalia today than it was in Ethiopia.
Although the U.S. has stepped up relief efforts, the tragedy of Somalia seems yet to have pricked the conscience of the American public. And relief workers ask, how much longer can the world watch scenes like these without finding a way to truly stop the suffering? Jamie McIntyre, CNN, Washington.
An Atlas rocket carrying a cable television satellite tumbled out of control today, a few minutes after liftoff. The 14-story rocket was launched less than 2 hours ago from Cape Canaveral. Everything appeared to be going well at first as the rocket soared through a clear sky. Less than 5 minutes after liftoff, though, launch officials said the rocket's upper stage engines had not ignited. The $150 million mission was declared a failure. It wasn't immediately known whether the Air Force issued self-destruct commands to the unmanned rocket.
Just ahead on Prime News, we'll look at how much bounce the Bush campaign collected from the GOP convention. At 12 past the hour, we'll go back on the road with Bill Clinton to hear what he has to say about the incumbent. Also at 20 past, how a winning basketball coach is now taking on an inner-city battle. And at 39 past, computerized warfare for fighters of the future.
Prime News is brought to you by GMC Truck, the strength of experience.
At GMC Truck, we've seen days like this for over 80 years. And have learned the value of a van that gives you the most room in its class. The added safety of four-wheel anti-lock brakes. The traction of full-time all-wheel drive. And the feeling of security that can only come from a van that's built as strong as a truck. Safari from GMC Truck. More proof of the strength of experience.
Freedent's the one. Only one gum leads the way when you've got dental work, and that's Freedent. Freedent won't stick to your dental work, so you can be confident chewing it. And because it also moistens your mouth and freshens your breath, Freedent's in a class by itself.
Freedent's the one that's stick out of gum, and freedom moistens your mouth. Yeah, moistens your mouth and freshens your breath while you chew.
Non-stick Freedent moistens your mouth and freshens your breath.
They won't work in this heat.
They say no AC, no show.
Say you need something set overnight.
Those prima donnas.
There are a few companies you can call.
The part's on its way.
But say you need it by 10:30 a.m. Guaranteed. There are two. But only one is so efficient and reliable. They get it there on time for far less.
It's showtime.
Which is why to some people, there is only one. UPS.
Coming this fall to CNN, 6 one-hour specials every voter should see. Democracy in America. We'll examine racial tension in this country, the outlook for creating jobs and employing Americans, how to make the government work again, profiles of the vice presidential candidates, Bill Clinton, where he comes from and what he's done, and a look at George Bush's political career. Democracy in America, beginning September 20th, only on CNN.
Some indications that President Bush's gains from the Republican convention may be somewhat less than he hoped for. Newsweek has released the first poll conducted after the close of the GOP gathering. It shows Mr. Bush 14 points behind Democrat Bill Clinton, and that's just 3 points better than the president rated before the convention. And that gain seems to have come from undecided voters. Clinton's 53% backing remains constant. As far as the president's overall approval rating, it rose 2 percentage points to 38%. And on his tax ideas, a majority of all those surveyed thought both the across-the-board tax cut proposal and his idea for a checkoff box on tax returns to help pare down the deficit were just politics and not serious proposals.
Voters may find it taxing to listen to current campaign rhetoric. That's because both candidates are blaming the other party for increasing the money taxpayers have to fork out to the government. CNN senior White House correspondent Charles Bierbauer takes a look at the diverging paths.
Bush campaign officials feel very good about a narrowing gap in some polls, but concede it's a little too soon to measure the post-convention bump. There are no doubts, though, that President Bush's tax ideas have quickly become a focal point of the campaign.
Let's give the American people a chance, give the people the power to dedicate up to 10% of their tax dollars directly to the deficit. If Congress won't cut the deficit, the American people will.
The president has not told taxpayers where he would cut spending, but the Clinton campaign suggests some possible Bush targets.
And the reason they won't tell you about the tax cuts is very simple. Because if President Bush means what he says about these tax cuts, it means he's going to gut Medicare, he's going to have across-the-board cuts in Social Security, it means he's going to eliminate the Veterans Department, it means he's going to eliminate food stamps.
Bush does not plan to spell it out before the election.
As he said the other night, there'll be 150 new members of Congress. He's hoping to get a few more good people to pass a new program.
The president shrugged off a soaking he took at a Woodstock, Georgia rally, but charges the taxpayers will get a soaking from Clinton's economic plan.
He's proposed raising government spending by $220 billion and raising taxes, the biggest increase in history, by $150 billion, and we cannot have that.
But the Clinton campaign disputes the Bush claim that would be a record.
The record is that President Bush has signed the second largest tax increase in history, and President Reagan signed the largest tax increase in history.
A Bush campaign official clarifies the Bush tax hike, the one he regrets, was over 5 years. Clinton's proposed hike over 4. One Bush aide says that difference makes the charge against Clinton fair. The president continues to run against both his Democratic opponent and Democrats in Congress, now singling them out.
I stand for a balanced budget amendment. Weich-Failer is against it.
And at least among the faithful at his rallies, strikes a resonant chord. The president's own campaign house cleaning will take place this weekend. The president's new chief of staff, outgoing Secretary of State Jim Baker, will be on the job Monday, trying to reshape what had been a foundering campaign. But Mr. Bush has come out of the Republican convention energized and charging every bit as hard as he promised he would. Charles Bierbauer, CNN, Hoover, Alabama.
Democrat Bill Clinton is off on another campaign bus tour, this one through America's industrial heartland. CNN's national political correspondent Gene Randall is keeping up with the candidate.
Bill Clinton and running mate Al Gore are once again the boys on the bus, hoping to take some of the spring from President Bush's Republican convention bounce, a bounce which polls show has cut into Clinton's once commanding lead. Clinton's biggest crowd on Saturday, 15 to 20,000 people in Youngstown, Ohio. They seem to love Clinton's political sarcasm.
It's amazing what Mr. Bush can do when he concentrates on it. I mean, he admitted he hadn't thought about America in 4 years, and now they want 4 more years.
The Bush campaign is out to dog the latest Democratic road tour. An ad in the Cleveland Plain Dealer newspaper on Saturday warned a Clinton win would mean the loss of 20,000 auto workers' jobs in Ohio and risk 300,000 nationwide. Clinton supports a bill to raise the auto industry's mileage per gallon standard from 27.5 to 40, but he says that should not eliminate jobs.
You go back to the speech I gave in April and everything I've said since then, we're going to have to raise the mileage. But there are all kinds of ways to do it that won't cost jobs.
And following a pattern, Clinton quickly counterattacked by turning on the president.
He has imperiled our national security by having no economic policy.
Clinton, meanwhile, could look at a poll that shows George Bush picking up steam and find some good news. In a Los Angeles Times survey, voters' top 3 concerns are all considered Clinton issues: the economy, unemployment, and health care. And as he campaigns for support of Reagan Democrats this weekend, Clinton hits hard at George Bush and those around him.
The very idea that Mr. Bush could say at the convention that we wanted to give you a government-controlled health system with the compassion of the KGB. Shoot, he's been the beneficiary of socialized medicine for 12 years now. Every time he gets sick, the taxpayers pay up the bill. Let's let him try the other system for a while and see how he likes it.
Clinton also repeatedly charges the Republicans with only paying lip service to family values. His response to the GOP's family values offensive. This bus trip is limited to New York, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Michael Dukakis won New York 4 years ago, but lost the other 2. All 3 states are vital if Bill Clinton is to defeat George Bush in November. And so Clinton's campaign decision to focus on these 3 battleground states in his early effort to burst George Bush's post-convention bubble. Gene Randall, CNN, Youngstown, Ohio.
Still ahead on Prime News, authorities in Idaho try to flush out an alleged white supremacist from his remote cabin. He's wanted on weapons charges and in connection with the killing of a U.S. Marshal. And the career change of a well-known college basketball coach, Digger Phelps, fighting drugs for the Bush administration.
You scum! I want you out of my life! Soap scum's disgusting. That's why I use X14 Soap Scum Remover. X14 is made to get rid of slimy soap scum without scrubbing. Try X14 Soap Scum Remover.
Hey, is Tegrin shampoo on sale?
Nope, that's their new lower price.
But it's still just as tough on dandruff, right?
Sure, Tegrin doesn't do less, just costs less.
Sounds right to me.
Tegrin, the right dandruff shampoo at the right price.
I was really downing those tablets.
Come on, they're not candy.
I started to think there was something really wrong with my stomach. A sigh of relief when my doctor told me to try a new antacid tablet.
Introducing Mylanta tablets, shown to neutralize more stomach acid than the leading tablet.
Unbelievable.
New Mylanta tablets.
My doctor said Mylanta.
Here's coffee. You know, my decaffeinated is darker than yours.
And you wake up perkier, and your newspaper's more in-depth.
Wait.
So...
I'll do it again. Here's your brand. My Folgers Crystals. Mountain grown. I'm filling. I'm pouring. I'm darker.
Okay. Can I have a taste?
Sure. Decaffeinated Folgers Crystals. So dark and rich. Shouldn't you switch?
You know, your decaffeinated is darker than mine.
July 1992. Oldsmobile goes further than any other car company to redefine quality. Further than the lab, further than the test track. The Oldsmobile Achieva went 100,000 miles against Honda Accord and Toyota Camry in a real-world test. Independent test results prove Achieva outperformed Accord and Camry in total cost, which includes maintenance, repair, and operating costs. Achieva, quality redefined. From the company that went far enough to prove it. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
The situation in Iraq has apparently prompted the U.S. to warn its citizens to avoid traveling to Jordan because of possible increased terrorist attacks against Americans. U.S. officials say the United States, Britain, and France plan to warn Baghdad early next week Iraqi planes flying south of the 32nd parallel could be shot down. A no-fly zone is designed to curtail attacks on Shiite Muslims in the area. Iraq is vowing to resist the plan. It calls the plan an imperialist conspiracy to divide the country. Bush administration officials deny that.
The commander of the UN peacekeepers in Sarajevo is pleading with the rival factions there to honor the UN flag. The UN was forced to close the airport for about an hour today because of crossfire. For the past 2 nights, the UN barracks have been hit by artillery bombardments. None of the 400 soldiers housed in the barracks was badly injured, despite fires and damage to the building. But earlier this week, a Ukrainian peacekeeper was killed by sniper fire. UN soldiers are allowed to fire back only if they see the source of the attack, and they rarely do.
Scores of federal agents and police have surrounded the Idaho cabin of a fugitive who yesterday shot and killed a U.S. Marshal. The stakeout is in the remote northern Idaho panhandle, about 40 miles south of the Canadian border. Authorities are trying to get 44-year-old Randy Weaver to surrender on federal firearms charges. Yesterday, officers on the stakeout came under fire and one was fatally shot. Weaver is reputedly a member of the white supremacist group, the Aryan Nation.
President Bush has enlisted an unusual fighter for the battle against drugs. He is Digger Phelps, a man on a mission in America's inner cities. Gene Meserve has our report on a man who's taking his skills from the basketball court to the mean streets.
Digger Phelps fought plenty of battles as Notre Dame's head basketball coach, but the one he's fighting now is much tougher.
It's wrong. What is happening today in this country, the United States, it's wrong. East St. Louis, Illinois, Bridgeport, Connecticut, those are third world cities. We shouldn't let that happen in this country.
Digger Phelps isn't just talking.
My name is Digger Phelps, and I'm with Operation Weed and Seed, and I'm here to listen because I care.
Weed and Seed is a program of the Bush administration's Office of Drug Control Policy. The idea, to weed out drug infestation in selected cities and then seed the community by funding existing social programs. This night, Phelps is gathering ideas from people who have lost family members to inner city violence.
He's listened, and I think that's the important part because we're the experts. We're the ones who've been through it. So.
Digger Phelps has the president's ear, despite the fact that he is a Democrat, and he passes on what he hears. He used to recruit basketball players. Now he recruits support for Weed and Seed from corporations, foundations, and influential friends.
I got a hold of Mr. Steinbrenner.
But Phelps is also trying to enlist ordinary people in his crusade.
We've got a long way to go. And it's not Digger Phelps, it's not George Bush. It's got to be every person in this country that cares. You can cross the street. Understand that.
Phelps' experience as a basketball coach serves him well. Recruiting trips to the inner city gave him connections, standing, and some comprehension of the problems there. As Drug Policy Director Bob Martinez sees it, Phelps is still coaching.
Digger has a great skill to recruit, to convince, to energize.
When Digger Phelps coached at Notre Dame, he took his basketball team to the NCAA tournament 14 times. He was the winningest coach in the school's history. He hopes he can bring off just one more victory, not on the court, but on the streets. Gene Meserve for CNN, Washington.
And just ahead on Prime News, the Justice Department cries foul over airfares. That could mean big discounts for ticket buyers.
No matter what our beliefs or where we come from, chances are if we fly, we do it on an airplane made by Boeing.
Is that a new dispatcher?
That she was here the last time you checked up on me.
So those Rollins guys,
They still trying to steal our drivers?
Well, I think I got that under control. My Payne Weber guy set up a 401k. It's a pension plan, so obviously the longer a driver stays...
That must be costing a bundle.
Well, it costs a lot less than constantly breaking in new men.
How does a stockbroker know that you've been having trouble keeping drivers?
He asked.
Wendy's has a great bacon cheddar cheeseburger, but it doesn't have a good slogan. So people have been trying to help me write one, because they really like the sandwich.
Come try Wendy's new bacon cheddar cheeseburger.
Take my bacon and cheddar cheese, please. Thanks, Henny. Get it?
New Yoplait Parfait style yogurt. What's to like? 3 layers. Real creamy. Fun to eat. Oh, it's low fat, too. So, how do you like that? Parfait style Yoplait. Do it for you.
When important people have something to say, they say it on CNN.
I don't think we'd end up in a civil war.
Get in touch with the people shaping the news. Watch Evans and Novak, Saturdays on CNN.
The Department of Justice has sued at least 7 major airlines. The lawsuit alleges they swapped information through a computer setup so they could all charge the same prices. CNN's Chuck Roberts reports.
There's a lawsuit pending in court against most of the major airlines. They've been accused of price fixing for the last 4.5 years. Atlanta attorney Pitts Carr is liaison counsel for the plaintiffs or the ticket-buying public.
Businesses are prohibited as a matter of law, businesses that are in competition with each other, of getting together and saying that if you will charge this price, then I will charge the same price, and avoiding price competition.
If the court upholds the Justice Department's claims, the airlines could be required to distribute more than $400 million in discount certificates. But travel experts say that's not enough.
The settlement is one that shouldn't make the public very happy. There's much less here than what appears, because under the settlement, none of the airlines admit that they've done anything wrong. None of the airlines are going to change any of the practices that were alleged in the suit to start with.
In the meantime, many travelers who purchased tickets between January 1988 and June 1992 are getting claim forms in the mail. But some experts say there's no rush to return the forms.
As things stand today, you'll have until at least February next year to file. The smartest thing for travelers to do right now is to do nothing. Wait until the court makes a decision in October or maybe even sometime after that and how this is actually going to play out, and then wait to see what procedure is ultimately adopted by the court and then file.
If the court decides the airlines will have to offer certificates, they would have to be redeemed directly through the airlines. That makes travel agents unhappy.
There's no question that they're doing this on purpose. A written settlement agreement has been entered into that excludes travel agents as redeemers of these coupons. And I think the end result is that the entire settlement is being financed with the commissions that would have been paid to travel agents.
The American Society of Travel Agents has petitioned the court to be included in any settlement that's reached. And Northwest Airlines is expected to ask the court to let its coupons be redeemable through travel agents. But even if the flying public wins, travel experts say there are so many claimants that many travelers will end up with certificates that are worth little or nothing. Chuck Roberts, CNN reporting.
And still to come on Prime News, choosing sides off the field can prove dangerous for those who prefer to fight their battles on the field.
The world champs are in Los Angeles, fine-tuning the defense of their Super Bowl title.
And those who defend the U.S. are getting some high-tech lessons in battlefield conditions. Details when Prime News continues.
How low can you go? Find out how much you can save on your next car or truck by making your best buy at Capital. After 55 years in business, if they can't come up with your best buy, who can?
At Capital Honda, your best buys include a 92 Civic 4-door with power steering, driver's side airbag, and more for only $149 per month. This is not a lease. See it today, drive it home tonight for only $149 per month.
Get your best buy today and every day at Capital.
It's summertime, 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 Applebee's, summertime, summertime, summer fair, Applebee's, summer fair, summertime.
This summer, the best way to stay cool is at Applebee's Neighborhood Grill and Bar. With summer light, summer fresh dishes like Veggie Patch Pizza, sizzling summer stir fry, bikini banana low-fat strawberry shortcake. Summer fair at Applebee's. This summer, it's the coolest place to be.
America's favorite neighbor, Applebee's.
This is CNN.
Here are the top stories on Prime News. A passenger ship has sunk off the coast of Malaysia after colliding with a fishing vessel. The Royal Pacific went down in the Straits of Malacca between Malaysia and Indonesia after leaving Singapore. A spokesman from Lloyd's Shipping Intelligence says 477 of the 600 people on board have been rescued. Residents of Southeast Florida are preparing for the worst in case Hurricane Andrew comes their way. The storm is about 600 miles east of Miami. A hurricane watch is in effect from Titusville to Key West. And thousands of firefighters are doing battle on a 35,000-acre wildfire in Shasta County, California. The blaze already has engulfed an entire town. It's only 15% contained. In Idaho, 160,000 acres of brush fire are on fire. And in presidential politics, the first poll taken after the Republican convention shows George Bush gained only a little ground on Bill Clinton. Newsweek's survey of 750 registered voters show Mr. Bush with 39% support, Bill Clinton with 53%. The president gained 3 points since last week's poll. Bill Clinton's numbers stayed the same.
The football season is starting, and in Los Angeles, the competition among high schools is fierce. But last year, gang violence spilled from streets, sometimes into stadiums. As Patty Panicia reports, the schools this year want the focus back on football.
The Dorsey High football team hopes to be #1 in Los Angeles again this year. But more importantly, the players hope #2 ranked Banning High will come to Dorsey's turf to play.
We're looking forward to playing them. It's going to be our home game, and we think we're going to have a good game.
Last year, Banning forfeited its game against inner city Dorsey. The reason? Gang violence. At one Dorsey game, shots were fired onto the field. 3 weeks later, a student standing just outside the stadium fence was shot.
It's really not our school that does all the shootings. The neighborhoods around us.
16 miles away at Banning High School, students are anxious to play Dorsey.
We can play on the neutral side. We can play them at Dorsey, Banning. I mean, we just want to play football. That's it.
Let the game settle it. Football. No shootings, let the football players settle their stuff on the field.
A gang truce in effect since the riots could make things a little safer. Still, some Banning parents want the game moved to a neutral site.
The children shouldn't have to be playing games worried about whether there's going to be gunshots coming or any type of violence.
Banning's principal is proposing a neutral site, but says it's for other than safety reasons.
I am hoping that the Dorsey people will provide a larger facility for the game because there's such fan interest throughout the city in this game.
The proposal may not go over well at Dorsey.
We didn't feel that there was a problem as far as our neighborhood last year. We don't feel there's a problem this year.
Dorsey will hold a planning session in the next few days to determine where the game will be held. Even if both schools come to an agreement, the game will be a tense one, beefed up with security, while everyone keeps a watchful eye out for gang violence. Patty Panicia for CNN, Los Angeles.
And while high school football players are preparing to open their season, Ben Earl Wright joins us now with some pre-NFL season games. Ben Earl?
Yes, we will, and we will get to that in just a second. But first, we begin with baseball. The Pittsburgh Pirates started this Saturday with a 3-game lead over Montreal in the National League East and finished their Saturday, at least, with a 3.5-game lead. That's because their ace pitcher, Doug Drabeck, continued with his current personal hot streak and helped the Buccos stop the Giants at the stick on a day where the wind was howling in Northern California. Second and third innings, the Pirates broke out against the Giants. Noah's Ark Day at the stick, 2 by 2 by 2. Spanky LaValia, Jay Bell, and Barry Bonds all connecting on 2-run shots. Bonds with his 21st of the year. After his, it was 6-1 Pirates. Doug Drabeck then took care of business after that. Striking out, Manwaring, and then striking out, Mark Bailey. He was mastering the Giants, picking up his 10th win and helping the Pirates register their 70th victory of the season as they take care of the Giants 9-2. American League Saturday afternoon action. A day for soaking the Rays in Cleveland and a day to cheer on starting pitcher Jack Armstrong, who was no-hitting the Texas Rangers through 5 innings. In the bottom of the 5th inning, Thomas Howard with the perfect squeeze bunt, driving home Felix Fermin and helping Cleveland to a 2-0 advantage against the Rangers. 6th inning, Bobby Witt facing Paul Sereno, and Paul won that battle. Over the wall left, failed his 16th of the year to help the Tribe make it 5 consecutive victories. At Fenway, rookie John Valentin with his first Major League home run, and it turned out to be a 4-run shot as the Bo Sox won the battle of cellar dwellers in the AL. We have to break away for just a few moments. When we return, we'll hit the gridirons in New Orleans and Los Angeles. Gridirons that proved to be of no help to either one of those home teams.
At GMC Truck, we've seen days like this for over 80 years. And have learned the value of a van that gives you the most room in its class. The added safety of 4-wheel anti-lock brakes. The traction of full-time all-wheel drive. And the feeling of security that can only come from a van that's built as strong as a truck. Safari from GMC Truck. More proof of the strength of experience.
Here's the real beauty of Rust-Oleum protective coatings. A tough barrier against the elements. Rust-Oleum, the name that means protection.
I'm talking about a new heart. New life. It was simple. You can't believe what it does for your system. Your eyes see things a whole new way. You run faster, you get more done, and you have more fun. It's not some wild promise. I've experienced it.
If a computer's at the heart of what you do, the OS2 operating system should be at the heart of your computer.
I'm living proof that it works.
This is your time. Time for the good taste of Smucker's apricot preserves. And jams are naturally fat-free and less than 20 calories. So few calories and so good. With a name like Smucker's, it has to be good.
On CNN tonight, the GOP's pushing the family. Are the Democrats' values the same? Both sides with Jesse Jackson. Then on Reliable Sources covering conventions. Will the media be a no-show in 96? All tonight on CNN.
As promised, NFL preseason action, and this afternoon it featured a great showing by the Houston Oilers and a great showing by a Redskin defensive back. Martin Mayhew's 2 interception returns for scores came on consecutive plays and helped the Super Bowl champion Redskins pick up their first exhibition season victory. Jay Schrader, the Raiders QB, picked up by Martin Mayhew, who returned it 33 yards, and then he did the same on the next play from scrimmage for the Raiders to help the Redskins jump out to a big lead. There's the second one. That one returned 25 yards for the score, and quickly the Raider fans let their feelings be known to Schrader. But then Todd Marinovich came on and helped the Raiders make a comeback and make a game out of it. But that pass a little short off the fingertips of Napoleon McCallum, and the Raiders wind up 4 points short. At the Superdome in New Orleans, a rough moment for the referee. Andy Ansich would like to forget that moment right there. Saints committed 4 turnovers in the first half of this contest against the Oilers with the help of the Oilers, specifically Bubba McDowell on that play. Houston all over the Saints today. Warren Moon connecting with not 1, but 2 TD tosses to Haywood Jeffries to help the Oilers stay perfect in the preseason as they maul New Orleans by 30 points. Keep it where it is, ladies and gentlemen, because in approximately 2 hours and 20 minutes, another action-packed half hour of Sports Tonight will come your way. We'll have all of the night's baseball action as well as details on golfer John Daly taking charge of this weekend's tournament. That and more at 11 o'clock Eastern. David?
Well, Van Earl, now even the battlefields are becoming high-technology staging areas, battle simulators making their way into military training as never before. The hope is that they'll save lives. More from CNN's David George.
Commander believes that there's 44 enemy vehicles.
At the National Training Center in California, soldiers trained for the Gulf War with real tanks and real guns.
Missile away.
The next war could be different.
Hit the ground.
McDonnell Douglas recently showed off a new scaled-down flight simulator designed especially for the Army.
5 degrees, 10 degrees.
The new simulator is cheap, portable, and versatile. It can be quickly converted from an airplane to a helicopter by switching a few key parts.
It essentially can be used to simulate any single-seat fighter aircraft made, both U.S. and foreign.
The U.S. Army's infantry school already uses small-scale simulators for everything from training individual soldiers to shoot to giving crews of Bradley fighting vehicles the feel of a crowded battlefield. Make-believe commanders of Army ground units can engage each other in computerized war. McDonnell Douglas's new simulator can do the same thing for Army flyers.
Kind of slide on over here, got a little sideward flight going.
In this demonstration in Georgia Tech's Flight Simulation Laboratory, the jet pilot and the helicopter pilot are in the same room, each one seeing the other's aircraft on his own screen.
Yeehaw!
In the future, they could be miles, even continents apart.
The goal is for us to be able to sit here in Atlanta or down at Fort Rucker or Fort Hood, Texas, and to fight against a unit that's over in Germany. It may even go even further than that. We may be able to have units that are actively taking part in a war game, for example, out at Fort Irwin, California. These units can actually be maneuvering their tanks, their armored vehicles, and their aircraft, and somebody sitting at Fort Hood, Texas can actually play in their battle scenario by knowing the positions of their tanks and their forces and flying against those forces. So not only will it be two linked simulator forces fighting, but it can be a simulator force fighting an actual unit on the ground.
George Washington said 2 centuries ago, to be prepared for war is one of the most effective means of preserving peace. In the 21st century, computer warfare may help head off the real thing. David George, CNN, Atlanta.
Now let's check in on Hurricane Andrew as well as the weather across the rest of the United States with Ted Texter. Ted?
Andrea, we have a lot of variety, and we want to start, of course, with Andrew. It is the most pressing at the moment. All the way from Titusville on down through the Miami area, down through the Keys, back to the west through the Dry Tortugas. There is a hurricane watch tonight. So if you are in this area, especially along the coastline, it might be a good idea now to review your evacuation path and perhaps make some preparations. Let me show you the storm now, the satellite vantage point. It is gaining quite a bit of strength, moving to the west now at about 15 miles an hour. Its current position about 575 miles to the east of Miami, Florida. It looks like it's wobbling just a little bit, perhaps taking a little more southerly course, but overall its path is to the west at the moment. It's gaining quite a bit of strength, 100-mile-an-hour winds, maximum sustained winds so far. Looks like it will intensify more over the next 24 hours or so, and it looks as if it will keep its westerly track at least for the next 24 hours. It is currently about 48 hours from the shore. There is now a hurricane warning up in the northwestern part of the Bahamian chain. Now, let me show you what's going to happen throughout the afternoon into tomorrow. It is going to rain down through Florida. Already we'll see the cloudiness moving on into the peninsula and likely some rain showers developing there. Convective showers and also showers associated with the storm as it gets a little bit closer. Through most of the south and eastern United States, it's going to be heavy rain through the day tomorrow. Through the Appalachian chain, back further south and westward into the heart of Dixie, on up into the Ohio River Valley. Still more rain showers, and it's really not needed here. High pressure in the north and the east should give you a real good cap for the weekend. It looks like Sunday will be a beautiful day. Mid-Atlantic states through the north and eastern U.S. Great Lakes region as well, right on down into Texas. Lots of sunshine. There is another hurricane to tell you about. This one, Lester, it now is off the coast of the Baja Peninsula. It is packing winds of about 80 to 85 miles an hour, moving to the north. So as it pushes further northward, it brings with it a lot of moisture. So rain showers will be very heavy throughout the Four Corners area, down through New Mexico, Arizona, southern parts of California. Word of some flash flooding in the Los Angeles area. That's through this nighttime. Further northward, throughout the daytime, snow has been falling. Cutbank, Montana has had about 3 inches of snow so far. Earlier yesterday, it started up in Alberta, Canada. All of this coming further southward because of cool air and Arctic front moving on in. Plenty of available moisture along with it, too. Let me show you the temperatures through the afternoon tomorrow. Back behind the front, that's where it's going to be cooler. And by the way, that snow is falling in higher elevations. South and western United States, not quite so hot tomorrow because of the storms. Most of the heat by far will be from Texas on up into the Great Lakes region, this clear corridor, you might say. The south and eastern United States, not quite so hot, but still it'll be a warm, summertime-like weather. North and eastern U.S. in kind of cool condition. Looks like a delightful weekend. On into Monday morning, or rather Sunday evening, to show you the progress that the storm is making off the coast. It will be moving ever closer. We'll keep you posted. More rain showers from the Ohio River Valley back through western parts of Dixie by then, and this front diving further south. So with it, cooling air, and behind it, quite a bit of shower and thunder shower activity. It has been a stormy night, by the way, afternoon and nighttime through parts of Nebraska up into the upper Midwest. Tomorrow night, the snow showers will likely continue up in northwestern parts of Montana. Through Big Sky country, you're going to see a little bit of white coming out of the sky. Into Monday, then we go and show you the progress everything is making. The storm system getting ever closer to the shore there. Likely the rains will begin in earnest along the Florida peninsula by Monday. And back further to the west, we're looking for more rain here all the way on up into the Rockies and northern high plains. Now these forecasts for cities around the nation. We'll be here, of course, to track the hurricane for you. We'll have more news for you as well in just a couple of minutes, so please stay tuned.
How about poor Fred Wilson? What a shame. So soon after retiring. I hear his wife needed help with the funeral expenses. Oh, that's ridiculous. He had Social Security.
When my brother died, his wife received a check from Social Security, all right, for $255. Funeral costs were more than $4,000.
No. How on earth did she pay for it?
Fortunately, my brother bought some additional life insurance a few years before he retired.
I'll bet that cost a pretty penny, huh?
Not with Colonial Penn. Each unit costs just $6.95 a month. Less than 25 cents a day. I have it myself.
We both do.
Both of you?
That's right. Neither one of us had to answer any health questions or take a physical exam. In fact, no one our age can be turned down, regardless of health.
No one?
No.
Is this a plan that offers a lot of protection at first and then reduces it little by little each year?
No. I've had this coverage for years. My benefit never decreases.
Your rates go up every year, right?
No, not at all.
Friends, keep telling friends about whole life insurance from Colonial Penn. With this coverage, your premium never increases for any reason, and your benefit won't decrease simply because you grow older. If you're over 50, you cannot be turned down. Colonial Penn Life Insurance Company specializes in protection for mature men and women. To find out more, call now.
Call toll-free 1-800-962-9300 for free information and receive this handy guide to Social Security absolutely free. That's 1-800-962-9300.
Hello, Colonial Penn?
Call now for your free information and your free book. That's 1-800-962-9300. Call now. There's no obligation. 1-800-962-9300.
Filmmaker Woody Allen says he feels no great moral dilemma over his admitted relationship with Suni Previn Farrow, the adopted daughter of his ex-girlfriend Mia Farrow. In an interview with Time magazine, Allen says, quote, "I didn't feel that just because she was Mia's daughter there was any great moral dilemma." And he denies anything improper with the 7-year-old daughter he adopted with Farrow, saying, "I have not molested my daughter, nor would I ever." Farrow has made a videotape in which she questions the child about the allegations. A custody hearing over the couple's 3 biological children is scheduled for Tuesday.
White supremacists today protested a civil rights march in Forsyth County, Georgia. The Reverend Hosea Williams led about 40 people in a civil rights march, as he did 5 years ago, declaring nothing has changed in virtually all white Forsyth County. At the county courthouse, the marchers were met with a counter demonstration by about 50 Ku Klux Klansmen, and others shouting white power. Police in riot gear kept the two groups separated, and there were no arrests.
Jordan's royal palace says abnormal cells have been found in sections of King Hussein's urinary tract during surgery in the United States. The palace did not say if the cells were malignant, but did say the 56-year-old king is not expected to need further treatment. Surgeons at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, removed the king's left kidney and ureter after finding the abnormal cells. He's expected to stay in the Mayo Clinic for at least a week.
Researchers say they have developed the first test that can let people know they have Alzheimer's disease before symptoms set in. The test was tried on an Indiana family of 6. A test on a larger number of patients are being carried out now. There is no treatment for Alzheimer's disease, but early detection could allow or would allow people to plan for their futures. The disease afflicts up to 10% of people over 65, stealing their memory and their ability to think.
In today's News from Medicine report, there's a controversial new study out concerning women, pregnancy, and age. It says women as young as 30 may face increased risks of complications in their first pregnancy. CNN's medical correspondent Jeff Levine has more.
Dawn Nicholson Palmer was 30-something when she had her first child, Matthew. He was born healthy, but the pregnancy wasn't easy. Her blood pressure shot up as she retained a lot of fluid.
Most of my friends are 30 and are having babies. And I find that some of them are having some complications with them postpartum, either bleeding more or their blood pressure is going up more.
You can see the baby's face.
The trend is undeniable. More and more women are waiting until they close in on age 30 or beyond before having their first baby.
Medically, it would be nice if women had children when they were younger. But I think that you have to realize that there are other things in a woman's life that may cause her not to be able or not to be ready to have children.
But a new study of Swedish women suggests the delays may pose dangers for the developing baby. The research indicates there's a 40% greater chance of late fetal death in women who have their first child after age 30. In the 35 and older group, the additional risks of low birth weight and premature babies are at least 20% greater. The survey shows that overall, the chances of such complications are relatively slim.
There is a small amount of risk there that I think women just need to be aware of. So this is not a study that I think should frighten women away from having babies over 30.
Some experts are concerned that's exactly what will happen. They point out the new research is based solely on statistics, not actual experience with patients.
It can be counterproductive in that it can interfere with good care and good outcomes for women who are frustrated or are fanned into a state of anxiety that interferes with their normal good care.
For instance, the rate of increased late miscarriage for 30-year-old women is only about 1 per 1,000 more than their younger counterparts.
The risk is there, but I think you kind of have to take a risk with anything.
Doctors point out that the care a woman gets during pregnancy and her personal health are as important as age in predicting outcomes. The new results contradict earlier studies suggesting there is little or no risk delaying pregnancy beyond age 30. And the findings could provoke new debate about the optimal time to start a family. Jeff Levine, CNN Medical News, Washington.
News from Medicine is brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb Company, makers of Bufferin. For strong aspirin pain relief, discover the strength of Bufferin.
Boy, this couch weighs a ton. Where does it go, Miss Lansbury?
Oh, right there, please. Wow, if I lifted that, I'd need Bufferin for the aches and pains afterwards.
You really believe in Bufferin?
I certainly do.
It's strong, huh?
Extra strength Bufferin has the strongest dosage of aspirin that you can buy. And I've discovered that the buffers don't weaken it. They just help prevent aspirin stomach upset.
Shouldn't you discover the strength of Bufferin? And for nighttime aches, pains, and sleeplessness, try Bufferin AF Nighttime. It's aspirin-free.
From now until November, CNN reviews the week in politics. A look at the events and the issues shaping the news, plus analysis and perspective from the experts. Campaign USA 92, Sunday, 9:30 Eastern on CNN.
To make sure your kids get their stuff at school, come to Mailboxes Etc. We pack and ship, and we also send money with Western Union. Because although they change a lot at school, one thing stays the same.
Mother, might you send some cash?
Western Union Money Transfer is available at participating mailboxes, etc. locations.
Welcome to the 90s. The new Audi 90. To drive it is to take control.
It's generally considered a barroom game with male champion players like Minnesota Fats. But now the game of pool is getting a feminine image. CNN's Gary Tuckman has the story of a female billiards champ.
It's a game that conjures up images of bars and betting, certainly not elegance. But images are changing. This is pool and this is elegant. And a lot of the credit for the image change is going to this woman, Eva Mataya. This is the U.S. Open Pocket Billiards Championship. And Eva, originally from Sweden and now living in Michigan, is the top-ranked women's pool player in the world. Her talent, personality, and looks have given her national attention, as well as help change the perception people have of women's and men's professional pool.
We all know that it doesn't matter if it's me or another girl or another player in the men's field gets the attention. It's attention for pool.
I've been playing for about 20 years, and I can remember days when we used to be apologizing to promoters because we couldn't seem to get more than 9 or 10 women to show up at an event.
Now they often have too many. But professional pool players are still waiting for their big break. If Eva wins the U.S. Open Finals on Sunday night, she'll win $3,500, pocket change for golfers or tennis players. But whatever the prize money, she quickly takes the cue when asked what she likes about her sport.
You don't have to be the fastest, the biggest, the strongest kid in class to play. I mean, it's a game for everybody.
One of Eva's chief competitors agrees.
The people still don't think, somewhere in their minds, they still don't think it should be a woman's sport. And to see the top 10 women, to see that what we look like, what we dress like, what our personalities are like, I think the women really bring pool a long way.
And pool has brought this 28-year-old mother of one a long way. Occasionally, the attention seems a bit overwhelming.
Sometimes I feel like sort of being a hermit and finding a cottage in Sweden somewhere and sort of hang out and get some horses and a few dogs. But I'll probably do that someday too. But no, I don't think. I'm very fortunate to do what I like to do for a living.
For her to advance, the game has to advance. So she's putting the game first, and the industry owes her a good debt of gratitude for taking that approach.
Making the billiard tour more financially lucrative is important to these professionals. But what needs to happen first is for the sport to get more respect. Once that occurs, Eva and her fellow pros are convinced that what will follow will be sponsors with deep pockets. Gary Tuckman, CNN, New York.
They can't keep us out of the pool halls anymore. That's it for this edition of Prime News. I'm David French in Washington.
And I'm Andrea Arsenault at the CNN Center in Atlanta. Coming up next, Both Sides with Jesse Jackson. Tonight's topic, family values.
Grandad, Grand Prix, Bonneville. This is the closeout you've been waiting for, the 92 Pontiac closeout. Final shipments of Pontiac's hottest sellers are rolling in. Now, with 3.9% 48-month financing, you could save almost $3,000 in finance charges alone. Limited time offers, so hurry for best selection. See the Pontiac people of Middle Tennessee and Western Kentucky now.
Get in out of that night before it grabs you.
That's an original line.
The Scotch tape and a leprechaun.
That's an original idea. Cable's got lots of original concepts.
Really?
Like USA's Ray Bradbury Theater, Fridays.
It'll scare the hell out of you.
And HBO's Dream On, Saturdays.
Those things are pretty hot.
They're original and only on cable.
There's more of what you're looking for with Viacom Cable.
love working for the ballpark.